This is The Surge. Came out May 15th, 2017 for the PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. It's $50 on Steam and $60 on the consoles. And there's only one edition for sale, which is a nice change of pace. There's no season pass or $100 ultimate collector's edition like you are seeing with Injustice 2 right now. It's developed by Deck 13, the developers of Lords of the Fallen. And this is a sci-fi Dark Souls style action RPG. If you do buy this game, be sure to use my Amazon link in the description. Anytime you buy anything on Amazon, first clicking our Amazon link is an excellent way to support WikiGameGuides. My name is John Tar, aka Beer Baron, and this is my first video in a series I'm calling the Gameplay Chronicles. And in part one here, I'm going to be going over the basic features of the Surge as best as I can. Any unanswered questions that you have, please leave them in the comments, and I will answer them all in part two. Also, much later in the video, I have a couple movie recommendations for media overload, and kind of a funny personal story about letting a stranger borrow my phone on the train. And if you don't like my commentary, there's a gameplay video without commentary linked in the description. So instead of focusing on all the features that are similar to Dark Souls, at least at the beginning of this, because there are a lot of them, I want to go over what makes the Surge unique. So, first, there's no light and heavy attack in this with each weapon. There is a horizontal attack, left and right, and that's on right bumper, and then there is a vertical attack with right trigger. You can hold right bumper and do a little bit stronger of a base attack with both the vertical and the horizontal. And most interestingly, you can target different body parts on the enemy. Now this is very important because what you're supposed to do is cut off different body parts and then continually attack the same body part to, say, cut off their leg so then you can craft leg armor. It sounds so simple, but it's incredibly fun. Also, you build up energy and can do finishing moves, which increase the chance that you successfully cut off body armor on different enemies. The more you attack that same spot and by doing the finishing move. So this guy's kind of dumb. He's like one of the first enemies in the game, so it's really easy to kind of screw with him. Perfect time to show off. So when you're switching to all the different body parts, the ones that are gold are armored, and those mean that they're available to be cut off and steal their armor, for example. The ones that are blue, not armored, and you can do more damage to them. So it's kind of constantly a trade-off. Do I want to attack their weak spot and just get this over with, or do I want to build up some crafting materials or something like that? And every single time you cut something off and an enemy drops something, it's worthwhile. So let's try to cut off his right arm. I'm gonna use both attacks, I guess. I'm still kind of learning the best times to use vertical and horizontal attacks. And as you can see, the executions are pretty freaking brutal. He dropped a Link's arm gear and tungsten alloy, and the tungsten alloy is crafting material. Unfortunately, there's no online component whatsoever for this game. There's no bloodstains, there's no invasions, there's no Brotherhood of the Sun, nothing like that. So you might have noticed actually right there that guy's weapon that he was using, this he has the same kind of chainsaw that I have as well. Every enemy you kill also gives you tech scrap, very similar to the Souls and Dark Souls. I know there's that guy there, but there's also one hidden over here. Lots of enemies kind of jumping out from random corners. You can just attack the weak spots and do fatalities as well, but when you attack the weak spot, it's not going to give you, well, you don't have any chance of getting the armor. So there is also a system similar, very similar to the Estus flasks in Dark Souls. They're called vital injections. I have 6 of them right now. That's one of the upgraded things. There's no backstabs, but as you saw right there, when you get behind someone and attack them, you kind of kick them in the back of the legs and stun them for a second, letting you get in a couple quick attacks. My health bar is in the top left. It's the red bar, and it has stamina, just like Dark Souls. The blue bar underneath the green stamina bar, that is your energy bar. there are every attack that you do builds up energy. Oh man, these guys do so much damage. And when I eventually get the energy bar up to that first like marker, the blue thing, that means that I can now do a fatality on whoever I am, well, fighting. Let's try to do another fatality here. Oh jeez, another guy. You don't have to attack certain body parts, but if you do, I mean, obviously you get that advantage, but if you're surrounded by guys and you need to just start swinging, you can do that. You don't have to attack specific parts. Let's cut off his arm. God, I love that. There is an option in the menu to turn off how frequently those slowdown fatality animations happen, and for this video I have them on high very frequently, but normally when I'm playing I have them on a low setting so that they only do the slowdown when you successfully get something new. So that kind of tells you, oh my god, I just got something really cool. So this level 55 overcharge power circuit is one of the kind of gates within the game. You have to upgrade your rig, your suit, which I'm going to show you some of the crafting and gear and all the different weapons and stuff like that right now. Up to level 55. You start at level, I don't know, 10 or 15, something very low. I'm probably up to level 20 or something like that right now. We'll see in just a second. Every time you go back to the op base, this is your bonfire. You go to the med bay, and this refills all your vital injections, and this is where you can level up. You can also change your implants here. So let's say, so the vital injection, that is the Estus flask. You can swap it out for, I have a whole bunch of different implants that I can use. Some of them you can swap out at any time. Some of them you have to do at the med bay. So like let's say for example, this one, sustaining array, slows the energy decay. Not that helpful, I'd rather have more healing stuff. There are different kinds of healing things. This plasmic regenerator heals 90 health over time, over 30 seconds, as opposed to 80 health instantly for the vital injection. I have them both. I've only died once so far in this game, so I'm trying to keep the death count low. But I imagine that there's going to be quite a few different implants as time goes on. Also, it looks like you're going to be able to upgrade the rig. Haven't got to that point in the game yet. One nice addition to Dark Souls that I really like so far is all the scrap that you have. You can spend it on upgrading your core. I'm at core power 27 right now, and all of your different implants they don't all use power, but for example, this vital injection uses 3 power, so you have to have enough power, core power, to power all of your different accessories, basically. If you don't want to spend them all, and you don't want to be just holding on to 50,000 scrap souls, you can bank them all anytime you're at a med bay. So if I die now, I don't just drop them like you would in Dark Souls. And they're accessible from any crafting station. This is the crafting station. These are the different blueprints that I have so far from cutting off different body parts of different enemies. The legs and arms are all ambidextrous. The heads, I only have the one head piece so far. You can also upgrade all the different weapons that you found. So this Aster Vibro Cutter, I've upgraded it to Mark II. And a very interesting thing that I read last night is that this game is really designed for New Game plus. So through your first playthrough, you can upgrade, I believe, all your weapons to Mark 4 or Mark 5. New Game Plus, you can get to Mark 10. New Game Plus, Mark 15. New Game Plus 4, Mark 20. After that, the enemies continue to scale and become more difficult, but your weapons do not. So if you really like that New Game Plus aspect of Dark Souls, but kind of felt like you get underpowered at times, this game really seems like it's designed for that. You can craft all these different weapons from scratch, from the different materials that you find, from cutting off legs and arms and stuff like that. Let's take a look at the inventory and the gear. So these are all my different weapons. My Vibro Cutter is the one that I like the most so far, and you can look in the bottom left. I am at level 8 weapon proficiency with one-handed weapons. This vibro cutter is a one-handed weapon. If I switch to, let's say, this heavy one here, the Spectre Bite, doesn't do as much damage because it hasn't been upgraded yet. It's a slower weapon, and it does more damage after it's upgraded to Mark II, but it's a different weapon class as well. Increasing your proficiency increases how much damage you do with the weapons. It's a really cool way to kind of incentivize you to continue to use different weapons over time, or just stick with one weapon class. As you can see, all the different weapons have dramatically different weapon animations as well. Oops, I keep hitting the wrong pause button. Let's take a look at the heavy-duty Titan. Actually, no, let's try this. The Butterfly, twin-rigged. Very low weapon proficiency scaling, very high attack speed, so similar to Dark Souls. The more you upgrade your rig, the core power level, some weapons scale better with that than others. So let's take a look at this one. You can see how fast that is, and that's a pretty cool backflip. If you do the, wait, how did I do that? Okay, so like, I was saying at the beginning of this how there's there's two different weapon attacks, horizontal and vertical. But here, I'm going to show you vertical or horizontal, horizontal, horizontal. If you do horizontal, horizontal, vertical, you do a little spin. That's the only way to do that spin. If you do vertical, 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 you do that punch, punch. If you do vertical, vertical, horizontal, you do that crazy backflip. So every I cannot wait to really experiment with all the different weapons and learn all the different combos. And I feel like I'm just beginning to scratch the surface with all the different weapon combos. So at this point in the map, there was actually the first little mini boss right here. He's this like crazy crane, and he's the only enemy so far that has not respawned after wow, look at how little damage this does, but it attacks so fast. Oh, okay, so that little shock move by this drone here, that just drains all of your stamina and energy. It doesn't actually do any damage. God, this weapon does so little damage. I'm gonna switch back to my other one before I get out of my league. Yeah, only 13 damage. I mean, I could upgrade it a little bit. I'm sure it'll be better. I've seen some people talking on the forums about this reinforced pipe staff. Like a lot of people are saying the staff class is way overpowered. I only have this very basic one right now, so I'm hoping that I find like a better staff later on to check out. Let's take a look at the rest of the inventory. Broken parts. These are just items that drop from enemies where you cut off their limbs. Consumables, these are souls, or soul of a fallen soldier. You consume it to receive 900 tech scrap. You've seen this before in Dark Souls. Schematics, these are the different, well, the first time you cut off a specific limb for a different enemy, you get these. And components, these are the different crafting materials that you also get from killing certain enemies. Organizer has various audio logs and collectibles. Iron Mouse comic collection, I accidentally found this one. Golden ticket, the crane thing dropped this shining coin quest item. I don't know what it's for quite yet, but this is your important area. And these are your stats. Very familiar, huh? You can see all my weapon proficiencies on the right. I'm level 8 with the one-handed. That's the one I've been sticking with the most. I don't know how all of these different damage types work quite yet. Crush, slash, thrust. I got a lot of experimenting to do. I'll have videos coming out once I understand more about it. And I think that's about it for the stats. More Dark Souls style things. There are shortcuts for you to unlock, like this door that I came through right here. I had to unlock from this side, which is a shortcut back to the med bay. I'm not going to heal. I want to show you another one of the shortcuts I unlocked. It's very, very, very much like Dark Souls, and I'm really enjoying the hell out of it so far. Let's go try to kill another one of those crazy enemies with a double hand. Where is he? Oh yeah, here he is. Oh jeez. Yep, this is the guy that gave me the double-handed one I'll use him before. Attacking and oh no! Oh, he just knocked me off the cliff and I died. No vital signs found. So instead of you died, it's no vital signs found. So now that I died, lost tech scrap, you see on the right side, I have exactly 2.5 minutes to get my scrap back. All of it that I dropped. Sound familiar? So let's get that right now, before I forget. And it tells you how far you are from it, but it doesn't really do a great job of directing you there, if you don't remember. So I just got all my scrap back. Wasn't very much, 180, inconsequential amount, but interestingly, it disappears. There's a time limit. I do kind of like that twist on the traditional Dark Souls formula. You can block, and it blocks, or as you can see, when I block, when I just hold block, it just slowly drains stamina. Did he glitch out? Is he standing on that railing? Yeah, I think he did. Oh, I want to show... Oh, shit! No, he was waiting for me to make a move. There's like a jump attack, a little poke that I really like to lead off combos with, where when you dodge and attack forward at the same time. There's a sprint slide attack for getting into combat like that. Oh, no, come on. I got my energy still. Let's cut off his arm. Thank you. Wrecked Rhino arm gear. Man, these enemies early on hurt a lot. This game is not forgiving. And there are different like parry moves and stuff like that, but I have not figured out any of that parry system stuff yet. This game is extraordinarily cryptic, like Dark Souls, with its systems. And this is, well, I love it so far. Let's wreck this guy. Off with their heads. Now I need to remember where I'm supposed to go next. I remember I was in this really spooky dungeon. Let's go down. Take the lift down. Nuclear Panner Plant. Uh-oh. And these guys that I'm killing right now, I'm kind of overpowered for, so I'm just rolling right through them really quickly. I found that being aggressive is a very smart way to play. If you let them like group up around you, they will just do... these enemies do so much damage. Ooh, I can't attack them through a wall. That's good to know. Anyway, let's move on to the final section of the gameplay Chronicles. Demon Souls obviously pioneered this brutally difficult action RPG genre as we know it today. Originally directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki and developed by From Software, Demon Souls was a PlayStation 3 exclusive. Dark Souls went multi-platform in 2011 and was a breakout hit for From Software, selling over 5.5 million units worldwide. But the trivia question is, what year did Demon Souls release? See the answer in the description. Today's sponsor is Layton Notebooks. Layton Notebooks were designed to be high-quality notebooks, similar to the Moleskine, yet much more affordable. The stripy notebook that they sell is an excellent notebook for students. I've gone through a couple of them this semester, and I love taking it to a bar just to brainstorm ideas for new content or journal about whatever I've been stressing about recently. I'll order a beer, watch whatever sports are on TV. Right now, I guess it's been a lot of Rockies, baseball, and playoff basketball and hockey. And just leaving my cell phone at home to completely disconnect from the outside world. You can save 10% on any purchase from Layton Notebooks with the promo code WGG at checkout. And using our promo code helps support WikiGameGuides in our effort to help you get the most out of your games. So for media overload, man, I saw Logan recently, and it's funny, like, Dan, who used to be an active part of this site, recommended it to me. I was like, all right, I don't know, I'm not a big X-Men fan. I don't know if I really want to see it. And he was just like, dude, you gotta see it. I was blown away. It was so much better than I expected it to be. And I've enjoyed the X-Men movies over the years, but I'm not a huge X-Men fan by any stretch. and my jaw just dropped with Logan. The story was excellent. The action was just some of the best I've seen in a long time. Logan was incredibly violent and gory, which was such a departure from the previous X-Men movies that had this kind of cartoony violence where they would, kill someone but there'd be no blood and guts. And this, man, Logan, within the first couple minutes, you'll know what you're in for. It's pretty incredible. And throughout the movie, I won't spoil anything, but I expected a Shane-style ending. They actually alluded to Shane so many times throughout the movie, throughout Logan, that I was convinced that was how Logan was going to end. And Shane is, oh man, I don't know what year it came out, but it's an old school Western. And the ending to Shane is famous. Shane, the main character, he rides off into the sunset on his horse, injured, and it's always been debated whether or not Shane lived or died at the end of the movie. And I thoroughly expected that's how they were going to leave Logan, but I won't say any more. Anyway, so not too long ago, I was on the train to the airport, and I was just zoning out completely. Headphones in. I mean, travel days, I hate travel more and more the older I get. I love to travel, but like the actual act of traveling, getting to the airport, getting through security, getting on the plane, being on the plane, all that stuff, it's getting worse for me. I don't know why. Maybe I need to drink more when I'm on the plane, or just start drinking as soon as I get on the train to get to the airport. But anyway, I was just zoning out, listening to a podcast and staring out the window. And this woman sitting across the aisle from me looks up, or starts getting my attention through my podcast. Says, "Excuse me, can I use your phone? Mine is almost dead." Now, first thing is, she said almost dead, and like every other person on the light rail, she had been on her phone constantly since I got on the train. Just everybody is just head down, looking at their phone on public transportation nonstop. This isn't a lecture about that, but it's just typical. She had a Samsung something phone, and I asked, because I was traveling, I had a spare battery. I actually had one of those, those external batteries that you just have the USB ports on them, so you can hook any phone to it to charge. I was like, oh, well, here, I have a battery. Do you have a charging cable? She no, she didn't have a charging cable, completely unprepared. And I was like, no, I don't want to give you my phone. I don't want to let you use my phone. And she was fucking pissed. Like, I had a solution for her to charge her phone if she was somewhat prepared. But no, that wasn't good enough for her. And she was fucking huffing and puffing. She also didn't ask anybody else around me, and there were people all over the train, if she could use their phone. Now, I wasn't imagining that my phone was going to get stolen or something. Well, maybe I was, but yeah, I think I was. But I just wasn't in the mood. I had an option for her, but she wasn't even capable of charging her own phone. She ended up getting off at the next stop, like quickly after she asked me, which then reinforced my initial assumption later that I actually did think that maybe she was going to run off with my phone. And she just made this huge huff and a puff and just did everything she could to let me know that she was pissed at me as she got off the phone. And I was just like, what the fuck? You have a phone. She was coming from work, it looked like. And I mean, like, it's not difficult to have your phone charged at all times. Little external batteries cost next to nothing. People travel, especially women with their purses, enormous purses. You can put a whole charging cable in there. It weighs nothing. Just carry a cable with you all the time. And she's pissed at me because I wouldn't let her borrow my phone. Anyway, that just like, that ended up pissing me off because she was so perturbed by the fact that I didn't help her out in exactly the way that I wanted her to. But who knows? I have no idea what she ended up doing. if she, you know, ended up getting stranded or something like that. I don't care. I was on the flight to San Francisco. Now, when I told this story to Eileen, my fiance, holy shit, I haven't really introduced her as my fiance very much. I left out a couple of details. Now, the first detail that I left out was that it was a she. I told her it was a he, and she completely understood, like, oh no, guys, yeah, I wouldn't trust some big guy with my phone, but it was actually a woman. I also left out any race or ethnicity, tattoos, anything like that, and I'm not going to tell you, but everybody listening to this story filled in some of these details that I intentionally left out with their mind. Does the time of the day matter? Like, if this was at 1 a.m. and she had just left the bars and was very clearly drunk, would that affect your decision if you were in my exact same situation? I don't know. I'm still thinking about this, like, weeks later. Anyway, tomorrow's video, part 2 for The Surge, I'm going to have some highlights from today's live stream of The Surge, as well as answers to your questions about this game, and a boss fight from later on in the game. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more tips and tricks, as well as more of these gameplay chronicles. I'm planning on doing these daily, as much as I possibly can. So subscribe, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. It helps me a lot in return. Thanks for watching, and game on.